Welcome to the absolute last recording for this GM8.App Most Rockets Wins event. This was the first event they put up, and I love the idea, I love the concept. It was actually a lot of fun to play. This episode, we get the final score, we get to chat to the actual guys over at GM8. At the same time, we take some suggestions for the next event, which is already run by the time this video goes up. But by all means, pop on their Discord server if you've got suggestions for some good event ideas. Because the next one was a marathon death world, and at the time I'm recording this voiceover, it hasn't happened yet. It's about 4 or 5 days away. But honestly, I don't think it's going to be that good. I've got my hopes high, but I think they've set the difficulty scale a little bit too high. And yeah, I don't think it's going to be as much success. Anyway, watch the video. As always, thoughts, suggestions, all that sort of stuff for either the next event on their, jump on their Discord server, leave some thoughts if you've got a good idea for another event. And if you've got any thoughts about my editing skills, as always, pop them down into the comments section along with some time codes for me. And we'll see whether I can actually learn how to edit like a pro. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch up with you at the end.
I think the servers are just like finished, like they stop.
Yeah, we're just waiting for the big boss people here to come and yell at us. Oh, there's Gluda. Oh, no, what? There went Gluda.
Is it just
Gluda's back.
GM8 down.
What's her?
Hey.
Welcome, Gluda.
That was just my browser being stupid.
Your $10 is safe, Gluda. I made sure of it.
Oh yeah.
Wait, he didn't bet on us?
The GM8 people were betting on us, and Blue, you can be proud.
As well.
2 of the staff members bet on Blue.
Yep.
Oh.
They were suicidal, yeah.
Yeah. 3 bet on Red.
You look at the sides of the team. Well, actually, I need to ask, how many players did you guys have that actually played?
I'd say most of them.
Most of them, yeah.
Oh, seriously?
Oh, maybe not
25 or so on at one point.
Look,
No, but
I'd probably say 10 to 15.
That actually played, alright.
Like, without looking at the server list.
No, but I'm just saying, because, I mean, I'm looking at her player list here, and yeah, I mean, I know that most of these people were only on for about 5 to 10 minutes to look at what was happening, and then they left.
Hi, guys.
So.
Hey, Gluda!
Hello.
What's up?
Not a lot. We made sure your $10 is safe.
Yay. Kiss your servers goodbye.
Oh, okay.
Gluda, what's that? Min and Checky. Well, we got $10 for each of you. Eden and Gen 2, sorry, you lost.
Sorry. Actually, yeah.
That's right. I finished tagging Blue server. I'm happy.
Sadly, yeah. The difference in actual players too big, and
I don't think it's the difference in players. I think it was we came better prepared. We were a lot better prepared in the first couple of hours.
Oh yeah, you don't get it. Like while we were actually. We were like 7 in the beginning, and nobody knew what the hell they were doing, and some people were doing stuff so weird, leaving too. We actually got someone coming in and say, "Oh yeah, by the way, they're researching steel, and their furnaces weren't even like set up." Like that's how bad it was. So.
I think at that point we had electric miners directly inserting into stone furnaces, which I still don't understand to this day.
It works.
Yeah, no, I think it was just weird. Yeah, no, I know, but it was just weird. I mean,
so you're gonna get a nuke and nuke your own base, are you? I like the confidence, Dragon King. I like the confidence.
Yeah, I can go to the reactor.
Joke's on you. We disabled the labs.
Yeah, we broke the research.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm browsing around the map, and you've got... See, the make everything is pre-made off Factorio prints, because I've seen it before. Lots of times.
Rip.
Yeah, I think Ober was taking designs from all over the place.
The refineries, I want to say it's Nielaus's blueprint book, but I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Wait,
All I can say is that
what was taken from someone else. What are you talking about? That make everything thing.
The make everything, the mall, the whatever you want to call it.
That is my design.
Oh, is it? Okay. I've seen it. I've seen either it or a very, very close copy many times on Factorio prints.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it was based on I think Catherine of Sky's belt making thing. Then I just added inserters, then assembly machines, and then it went all downhill from there.
yeah, I think most of us came in with new designs, and it was just like one player. There was Ober, which was looking up designs everywhere, and we had Mutz, who actually saved their asses up in the beginning here with his little furnace design. But that was, I think most of the rest we just kind of winged it. So
put that on the screen so at least I've got something because the server's down.
Oh yeah, and then
Yeah.
And hey, your JD plays stayed there till the end.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be there.
Both of them. Both of them. There's one here and there's one over here in this corner. Over there.
Oh my gosh.
So thank you, Blue, for at least keeping us on our toes.
Yeah. I don't think we actually managed to do that, but I'll pretend we did and I'll say thank you.
I mean, I had fun.
Ask how many rockets you guys did.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think we, at least most of our team knew we were going to lose and we just did it for fun. It was not the biggest surprise, but
Did Blue Team get the 20 million green circuit achievement? I have no idea even if we got that.
We did.
I guess we probably did,
We
and
got
then
it 3
some.
times over.
Yeah,
Okay, did we get the 20 million blue chip achievement?
That's not
No.
Ah, so close.
It's not an achievement.
It is if you play Factorio enough. Everybody knows it's an achievement. It's an
Yes.
unwritten achievement.
I was like, that's not an achievement.
I'm a little sad that no one used trash talk because we were pretty excited about that.
I used it.
Did you?
Well,
Sorry,
Trash Talk had
we
so
were
much.
busy. We were busy building.
Yeah, there's so much just joining, leaving.
Yeah,
Just not a trash talk.
yeah. Trash Talk just had the bot in there so much.
Our plan was actually to set up events for rockets launched, so it would go ping the enemy team whenever one team launched a rocket just to piss each other off.
Oh,
Yeah,
that could have been
so
That would have been
horrible.
I reckon, yeah, don't bother with the leave join.
that would have been like talking about putting pressure. That would have been pretty horrible.
It's just like
That was the plan. We just never got the events finished for it, so I couldn't make the bot do it.
Oh, look.
by the end it would just be red launched a rocket, red launched a rocket, red launched a rocket.
Yeah, Blue would have quit 24 hours in. They're just gone like, we can't, there's no way we can compete.
It was the message that pops up when you launch a rocket without a satellite is just constantly on the screen.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, we just gave up on in-game chat entirely.
Hey, satellite, hey, satellite, hey, satellite.
I'm pretty sure our first rocket was over the 8 hour. I thought it was 8 hours 15. We just missed the achievement.
That was round about that.
The server had been running.
Okay, you.
Oh,
you
that's
asked
right.
how
The
many
server had been
green
running for an
circuits we
hour
have
and we
made.
hadn't been on.
It is 16 million.
We technically beat the achievement. If you count the first people on red team that got in.
And it only took 24 people to do what some folks can do.
Exactly.
So we're gonna try to get all the mods in general, and you guys can give us some feedback about like what you'd want to change and stuff, and ask some
Alright.
questions,
Whitelisting.
which should be soon. Eating coder is just being slow.
Derp.
Yeah.
Whitelisting is the first thing that's come up in chat, and I tend to agree.
Wait. Don't throw out ideas yet until Eden's here.
Holy crap! There's so many
Sorry.
people in this voice chat suddenly.
That wasn't an idea.
This is the general chat.
Yeah, I know, but like, anyways.
I cannot see that.
But
I know,
I'll
I
let
can't
you guys
see
know
that
when
one.
you join, so you don't have to, go through the list.
Open a browser.
8 hours, 8 minutes.
So
We only
technically
have-
7 hours, 8 minutes. Ooh.
Paste and go.
Yeah, but that doesn't count. 'cause the
Zoom.
was on like an hour and a half before we
8 hours, 8 minutes, maybe? I don't know. Alright,
Oh, no, he sent a screenshot.
it
Tell you.
Discord really chews images.
Let's say
Oh
it's
yeah, there's the.
08:33.
8 hours, 8. Yeah. But then I forgot the servers were running for an hour and something before we even got online.
This is a little off topic, but do you guys know how to pronounce the mod names? Like, of all the mods?
Checky, Dr.
No, like
Jordan.
Big Bows. Did you guys know how to say that?
I've got Eden, I've got Gluta, I've got Install Gen 2, I've got Dr. Vernon, and I've got Checky. Is that right?
I just meant Big Bows.
Oh, Big Boss.
That was still up in the air with me.
Is it
That's how
Big-
you say it.
Big
So,
Bows? I
yeah.
thought it was Big Boss. I was
Where'd
like,
that come from?
I'm fine with
Big
that.
Bows.
Battle Gear.
Why Big Bows?
Is that a reference to something?
No, it's just what we're called.
Did someone misspell it at first and then they didn't want to own up to it, so it just kind of became standard?
Yeah. I'm sure we've never done that. We'd already killed over 9,500 trees by then. Ouch.
Wow.
Or trees.
All right, Gen 2's here. Oh wait, no, it's Eden we're waiting on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I found out Eden Code is actually he's busy right now, so he won't be able to get on the call.
Ooh, we're in a comment. Wow. Professional.
Actually, we're making
He
sure.
might join.
Can I apply for a job?
This is an interview.
Or are you're not accepting applications?
You've got an extensive resume on standing on red belt and pressing research button.
Yeah, very extensive.
I'll be
And also
a source for that.
belting rocket fuel halfway across the map.
Yeah, I can
That's
belt
alright, you
rocket
can
fuel across the map and with blue belt.
He's also really good at breaking missile silos by not wiring the smarts right.
Yeah.
I didn't break them. That's just breaking science.
And making really annoying alerts with speakers.
Oh,
yeah.
Don't forget
Yes, there's an
depowering the
option.
walls to stop the biters. Yeah, let the biters into the base.
Hey, okay, so it sounds bad, but it was exactly what he says.
So I think the
You're just
end
holding
story
up an
is Kyle is going to list all of us as references.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh
I
yeah.
get the job.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like a solid yes, I get a job.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I actually wonder how many trees killed over and died on our map due to pollution. That'd be an interesting stat.
Well, I know they die over time. Will they actually
Many.
delete themselves over time, even if it gets strong enough?
No.
Yeah.
Just pollution we put out would be
That would be
interesting.
great if they did though.
Yeah, we had a massive pollution cloud at the end.
No, it was just solid red until it got to the wall and went over the wall, and then the biters absorbed all of it.
It was a very binary cloud. There wasn't any sort of, there wasn't any gradient to it. It was
No.
just solid pollution and then just nothing at the wall where
Yeah.
the biters were.
Yeah, the only gradient was at the wall where the biters were devouring it, and it's like a little bit of light red and then just fucking blood.
Crimson Raider, hey mate. Yeah, event's over. We won slightly.
Hero, the narrator.
Slightly.
Yeah, I have no idea if I'm in the next one. Does that help at all, Blue Team?
Why not?
Nah, don't
Yeah,
think
why
so.
not?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's fun. Why not? Hey, you were a good sport. You had our address and you didn't come in to just ruin it.
No.
More
'Cause
importantly, we didn't give it to Kyle.
we didn't give it to Kyle. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wouldn't
we
have
thought it
been-
would be unfair
Thank
to
you.
come in, do all that shotgun research and follow a robot count.
Yeah,
We
I was
did
gonna
offer
say,
to send him across a couple of times to help.
Yeah, no, as I said, like the only people that went in was one of them was a kid who's now playing. He's been playing Robocraft ever since.
Oh, that kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah, they got the,
But I mean,
the,
It's
the
very
dick
fitting
move.
playing Robocraft.
He's actually 15 and probably hyperactive or something. He was yelling all the time. And we got a 12 years old, but he's been much better than the 15, sadly. So,
All right.
it was 2 players that went in.
So we're just gonna go
They were
ahead.
in the beginning.
We're gonna go
Yeah.
ahead and do it now because eating coder is gonna take 40 minutes and we don't want to wait that long.
Oh, good, because I don't have that long.
All right. So just shoot out your questions or concerns.
What was the final score for Red Team? Because I haven't been able to log on for like 8 hours.
We're still compiling both of the scores right now. We've
okay.
only just gotten all the stuff prepared for it.
Okay. Crisis wants Mojo versus JD next. No. Just no.
Yes.
I call Team Mojo.
What do you need in order to make that happen?
No.
What?
Just compile the save files.
Like, what do you need? What do you want?
No, it's not happening.
No?
Unofficial red score is 2200.
Shit.
A few.
Just a few, yeah.
Yeah.
For 48 hours as well, wow, that's a lot.
In 48 hours, that's pretty impressive.
It was. Oh, there you go. There's the 2 saves. You can go in and grab your save files.
See, you didn't even that didn't even give me the port. So, JD, what you lied to me.
Extern versus JD. That maybe.
Oh.
Ooh, yes.
That could be interesting. He has a lot larger follower base, so that could be.
Does.
I'd have to steal ColonelWill's subforce.
I'd be down.
Yeah, I think the part of the imbalance came because all of the streamers were in red. So you had Will.
I was in
Sherman,
red,
even you.
And then I asked Will what he was doing on the weekend, and he said he can't do it because it's the wrong time zone. But his subforce was free, and I'm like, great, I'll take them. And then he swapped his streaming time to be on at the start. And yeah, he ended up coming on. And it was really good, because otherwise the first 5 hours would have been me dumping the blueprints and then running away for 3 hours and then coming back.
The first few hours Notch was on.
Wait, you are talking about holding more competitions? Please do. This was fun. I'd like to do it again.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely have more competitions. It'll be more or less monthly thing.
Well, as it's been mentioned, what would be fun is maybe do something with PvP on the same server, and
I like the PvP.
With the concerns were said, maybe try to limit artillery might be a good idea.
Or
even tanks, I think.
Well, you just have to set the bases like 5,000 apart at the start.
So, red
okay, we would just launch rockets and...
see who could get the artillery range large enough that they can actually start pummeling the other base.
Yeah, you can't place artillery outside of a certain area, and you have to, yeah.
So red base is double the size of blue base, I believe, or just under.
I think it's triple.
72 megabytes for red to 37 megabytes for blue.
That's over double.
But our base, we've explored, and every single patch we've found, we've mined.
Or actually, no, it's.
Yeah, I mean, I literally was running all the time to clear biters to add more bases, and Yoda was making stations. Like, probably we slept like 6 hours, and it was all we were doing, and you saw the result. Like it.
So would you guys prefer same server then?
I'm not saying anything for the next one because there's a good chance I'll be out. It's part of my Patreon rewards. Once a month I do an open multiplayer, and you guys' event just lined up with that for this one. So I invited my patrons and those who follow and watch my YouTube channel along. And some came, some didn't. It's open, so yeah, I don't know. My next month falls during school holidays, and moving. So that's
what we're looking at for the next competition is probably, rather than being completely open, we didn't really expect the sort of reception that we got with this many people in it.
Mm-hmm.
So for the next competition, we're probably going to be more streamer oriented. We're going to work with people like you and maybe even out the amount of followers both teams are going to get a little more, and have a good amount of streamers on both teams covering the event a lot more so.
Yeah, I think our side was nobody knew what was going on our side, and on the other hand, there was like a bunch of streams of the other team.
Wow.
Having speedrunners on team.
Yeah, you were way ahead.
Yeah.
Well, do we have speedrunners? Who's a speedrunner?
Me.
You are?
Are you a speedrunner?
Yeah, I was second on the Steel Axe.
Yeah,
That's a one-off challenge to get a.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to do 100%. And haven't done the launch a rocket since 14.
No, I did launch a rocket like a month ago as my open for the month, and it was 4 or 5 of us, and we got a rocket in 6 hours. But there's no importing blueprints there, which made a big difference. Crafty Stone, 2,200 rockets is what we came
That's
up
also
with.
something you could do for modifications, not allowing outside blueprints.
I wouldn't mind, because I build a lot from just hand building, but I know a lot of other players rely on blueprints. So again, further advantage, JD. I'm all for it.
Well, I think it would be really interesting. Maybe I don't know if it's possible, but to disable blueprints.
You can disable blueprints. The trouble is, you
that would
have
make
to
it
turn off
much
the
more
blueprint
interesting.
menu completely, and then you lose access to deconstruction planner.
Oh.
Oh. Maybe give it as an item on the beginning. Everybody just whenever you spawn, you start with a deconstruction planner.
Switch back to point 15.
Or something which just like chest, which automatically fills with them at spawn with blank blueprints and decon planners.
Yeah, because it is important once you've got something to be able to duplicate it.
Yeah, no, having but
without
like being
duplication, that would be just horrible.
It would be nice to see what people come up with without having to rely on old blueprints or stuff that other people did, and it'd probably make it a more diverse and interesting map than everything looking the same and streamlined.
I think there was 3
looking streamlined. Did you look at our base?
Yeah, well, our base was
Okay, Blue
a
Buck.
Turflight mix.
Wow.
220. And then
Blooper just put up the unofficial scores.
that's like pretty close to each other, right? Like
That looks about right.
1 or 2 off.
Yeah. So we got 10 times their score. And like Stinson was our combat guy. He got a tank early, and he just from then on was on combat non-stop.
Yeah, he's the combat guy.
It was just like expanding the wall as well.
Yeah.
I like how you guys have this huge wall encompassing everything, but there's still a fighter base inside the wall.
Well, it was default settings, so that means expansion's on and it's fast.
Yeah, I know, but
What a
like,
wall.
if the biters have no base whatsoever left, they can't expand there anymore.
No,
Like,
they took out a wall because most of our players couldn't actually get on the server to do anything.
Yeah.
And then once the wall was gone, something
see.
slipped past
Yeah.
and then expanded.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, so, and also what happens that below the coal 743K, they actually broke through a wall there as well.
All right.
Most of my time playing was basically
I got the numbers.
along after Stinson clearing out.
Oh god, this is gonna hurt.
Come on, Doctor, give us the numbers.
Oh,
Hit me hard.
I have blue with 214 rockets launched,
Congratulations, Blue. You did well.
and red, I have it 2,215.
Nice.
I was gonna say 200, huh? You really want the money, don't you?
Oh, I
I
messed
mean,
that
even
up.
if they said 215 with one barrel rocket.
So well.
So, congratulations, red team.
Great job.
Yeah, awesome job, you guys. Seriously though, congratulations and well played.
You were
And thank you for being good sports, even though we had people
Mhm.
mess with your server.
Oh yeah.
See, I never knew the nuclear reactors exploded like that till now.
I didn't either. Now we do.
Yeah, nuclear refineries. If nuclear power plants, yeah, if they get damaged, it was in the notes when the patch came out and had nuclear.
Yeah.
The biters eat it, it explodes. Good and proper.
I think it was over 700 degrees. They explode with a nuclear explosion.
No, you can put fuel in them and just let them go.
Oh, if they're not running?
Yeah.
If the heat's not taken away?
Yeah, I've never had one explode.
No, they won't explode normally. You have to destroy the...
Well, now you've had 4 explode.
W-O, okay. Yeah. I don't know. I'm open to suggestions for the next event, but I think I don't know, doing an AU versus US versus EU. I don't know.
Well, that could be interesting for stream times, because that means the European would probably be streaming one time zone, the Americans would be streaming the other time zone.
It would, but then again, like, Will's in the UK and he streams more of a US time zone than anybody else. Right?
Which is compatible with Australian time as well.
Yeah, which is compatible with our time. You know, Mojo and Will and I play together on his streams all the time.
The locality thing, it was more because of latency time, given the tournament was 48 hours anyway, so it would be in both people's time zones equally.
Yeah. At the end of the day, like, you know, my times are so variable that the day one I was up streaming till 5 a.m. And then got 5 hours sleep and came back for another 12 hours or so. So 12? No, it was a lot longer than 12. It was... Yeah, no, it was 12. At midnight, my machine couldn't keep up anymore. So, you know, I put in my hands.
And even then, if like in the future ones for the AU, I could take one time and you would take the other, because we don't normally share the same time.
No, we don't. But again, like, yeah, I've got family, kids, school holidays are coming up. It depends when it's on and then what other commitments I've got. And I'm moving, so there's a good chance when it falls, I might not have internet.
Yeah, I think I have one more suggestion for the next one. Maybe use a longer time period. So basically, you have to worry about UPS more.
I see Team Blue's been changed.
I like how
Team losers. Ouch.
Yeah, I mean...
Ouch. Hang on, you guys got 2 leaders?
No, we have like 6.
Wow, we had just me.
I mean, our first leader was a guy called Thunder, who was on for a total of 2 hours. He wasn't on in the beginning, so we had to decide on an interim leader, which turned out to be Yoda. Yoda had to leave 2 hours after the start, which fell on to me, and then I had to leave. Problem was, the only people who were left were under like 13 years old, and I didn't want to do that. And honestly, I don't think the team leaders did anything. We were so little that it was just a role that was swapped around to ban Red if they ever came, and there was no practical use to it.
Yeah, pretty much.
When people came and joined the server and screwed it up, I wasn't even online, so somebody else dealt with it. But yeah, alright, team leader's job is to yell and whip people. I heard you guys had done organization, somebody's going to be in charge of trains and power, and you split up the jobs and everything. How'd that work?
I mean, yeah, right.
It worked that well, did it?
Sort of did. At least for me. I volunteered to do trains, and when I was online, I did mostly that.
Yeah, I volunteered to come to the map with blueprints. That was it.
I volunteered to do research, and I did.
Yeah, no. I mean, we had the sheet, but considering most people who probably went on that sheet were not even there. And then I think it was mostly everybody just did what they could at some point, and we hoped that the pieces would fit together. There was literally no organization, like none whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
And
when we started down to 2 or 3 people, it started to work out.
Yeah, well, I think one of the eventually we figured out who, I mean, Yoda was pretty much self-sufficient. He could do. Mats was doing pretty good. Ober was also okay to go around a little bit, but we had some players that were also, there was like unofficial babysitting jobs that had to be done because they didn't actually know what to do and they were just kind of turning in circles there.
Yeah. Oh, look. I don't know. Gluter
So-
and Vernon are here for suggestions for the next one, and so's Install Gen 2. I would really like to see one map, a PvP style with something like artillery, a big no man's land in the middle. Mojo's done plenty of the PvP challenges and actually have a permanent lockout area where other players can't enter. That's your base, that's yours, it's immortal, but artillery can shoot into it if you can get the research up to get that far to start. Yeah. A PvP ribbon world.
You said you want the no man's land in the middle.
Mhm.
Just litter the whole thing with landmines.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You know, that means
I think it would be fun. So even if you wanted to take a car and get some intel, good luck with that.
Yeah, but we're like writing down everything you guys are suggesting, so just suggestion, we'll, use it for the next comp,
Just
definitely.
make a Google document. We will fill it with ideas.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, I think the most important thing would be just to find a way to balance the teams a little bit more.
Definitely.
I do gotta say, I enjoyed having a small team like this. I mean, it was fun because we all knew each other. Because I mean, we're such a small team, so it wasn't not fun, but
we knew we are going to lose.
Would you want to stay with 2 teams?
I think it depends. I mean, if we do the PvP with a big thing in the middle, depending on the amount of player, it could be interesting to do 4 teams, 4 cardinal directions with a.
I think it really comes down to how many players register for the next one, and on top of
Yeah.
that, how many play. Because I know Exterm registered for Team Red and never ever even joined.
Yeah, he didn't show up. And he was going to.
Oh yeah, a lot of the players that are even here. I mean, there's a lot of them. Some are actually in this chat right now, and I don't remember ever seeing them online.
Call them out.
Yeah, Exterm's there. He was when Will finished streaming. I was meant to take over. When I finished streaming, Exterm was meant to take over an hour later, and he's like, "No, because there's the possibility of griefing. He's not going to join at all." And as it was, we had 2 griefers which were dealt with within 20 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
People made it seem like it was really bad. It wasn't that bad. And Exterm was just like, well, I'm not going to join because there's a possibility that there could be griefers, which is kind of stupid.
So I think instead he did Minecraft because that's a game for adults, right?
Left 4 Dead 2.
Oh yeah, Left 4
I
Dead
mean,
as
if
well.
you mod it heavily, then it is.
I
I mean, mod it to the point where you don't even recognize it.
Yeah.
So many people hate on Minecraft, but it's not that bad of a game.
It's a personal hate.
Okay.
I think the game itself is good. It's just
Yeah,
that it has such a wide.
It's
wide
just
follower
it
base
needs
that,
an us seating. It needs an us seating. Let's be honest.
A CD? What?
An us seating to optimize the crap out of Minecraft.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
I mean, it is running on Java, so
Yeah,
that's
Only so much you can do there.
It's hard to make that.
Did it
into,
move to C++?
yeah, they moved on the Windows 10 version, but it doesn't support mods, so it's not Minecraft anymore.
Yeah, I can't do vanilla Minecraft without tearing my ass out from boredom. I need mods to add something.
Yeah, but I think that was part of how the game was made, was to be easily moddable, as far as I know. So.
Actually, if I heard properly, that the people who made unofficial mod support, they looked at the .jar files, which are basically compiled code.
Yeah, they
So
had a
I don't
third-flower
think
decompiler.
mod
It
support
was
is,
never supposed to be supported until Microsoft did a thing with it. Like, they just had somebody built a decompiler that made pretty nice deconstructed JRE code, and they've just been working off of that.
And
Oh,
then
wow.
the whole forge thing just patches the jar file to import mods for easier.
Yeah, well, that's what it used to be in the beginning, but
Okay, there's a good
I thought that
comment
changed
in
quite a while ago.
Still is, I think.
There's a good comment in
It is.
general that and Mojo shoutcasted this one. Anti and it was Anti and who else? Who was the other player?
It was 3RA on one team and Steelax on the other, so it was Anti, Bilka, Zulan.
No. There was one I just watched that you sent me a link for. It was just Anti and one other that got the
was that
one.
Rain?
Yeah, no, because the other team was not Rain, so maybe it was Anti and Rain, and they won the PvP challenge with just 2 players versus every other team that had 4 or 5.
Oh yeah, that was Anti and Rain, and then team
that.
not Anti, which was Bilka, Zulan, and
Yeah.
all those guys. They're not Antis. And then that also had 3RA.
3RA, Exterminator,
M,
Shred Guy, and somebody else.
Elric M. And I think there was another team too. I can't remember those guys' names now.
There was 8 teams, 1 dropped out. But either way, 2 players won just because they had the skill levels compared to teams of 4 and 5 players. So balanced teams may or may not work. Anti and Rain are not exactly human.
I think you're missing a point here. Is that that production challenge thing? It was only like 3 hours.
It is.
Yes.
I mean, they are amazing in early game because they are speedrunners, obviously. But I think if we make the scale larger for like 2 or 3 days, then their benefit is going to be not as significant, I think.
Oh, I don't know. They pretty much owned everybody on the map by going hard early and then went all combat and just took everybody else out.
Can't do much against all those PLDs.
There is a lot of cheese strategies in PvP.
It was
as
an
well.
arms race basically, and they have the upper hand in that. But if it's on whole separate servers with actually password secured and everything, then it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, one thing is, if we were going to be doing another competition like this, we would try and work out a better way to avoid griefing even more, despite it not really being so much of an issue. But I was wondering, because a lot of people have mentioned PvP, I'm wondering how many of you would want a PvP game as to another production challenge like this?
I think PvP would be awesome.
I'd be down.
I've never done PvP.
I'd
It's a
love to
terrifying
see
concept
PvP.
to me.
Same. I think the average train on our map has more kills than I do in PvP.
I know PvP has a lot of issues with latency because the game's not designed to do
Yes.
PvP. And that's the catch.
I should probably avoid a PvP game because I know all the cheese strategies.
Yeah, I know you do. I know you do. And my answer is if you have a 100% immune base, so that is your safe zone, people can't enter that area, and a no man's land in the middle, right? So people can take out other people's outposts, and if you get to artilleries and nukes, then that's a whole different ball game.
That would actually be interesting because you'd have to cram as much of your key infrastructure in that safe zone as possible.
Yes, pretty much.
Oh, and also install nuclear artillery, but make it just incredibly expensive.
Nah, nuclear artillery is far too dangerous.
No, I've never seen anyone use nukes in PvP yet.
No.
It's too much to get to.
But they are 3-hour challenges, whereas if this is 48 hours...
This is why they should be used, because they are such a huge power thing. But they also need a huge factory to make them.
I feel like by the time
Yeah, JJ, you're right. Anti and Rain are definitely sprinters, and this was definitely a marathon. It's a different type of game, but it still holds true. If you own early game, as Red did, we had a rocket up and done in 8 hours, and we weren't even pushing rockets. It was just the excess resources went into rockets. Meanwhile, we're trying to get modules and beacons built. And then after that was up and running, it was just go out and outpost and just feed it resources.
I think in 8 hours we barely had the smelting up, so...
Yeah.
And by smelting, I mean like stone furnaces.
Yeah, no,
the basic smelting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had the early game edge there.
Yeah, we had the most people on early game.
It's a catch me too. In some respects, we had too many because there was just no iron. I was expecting 10 players to start, and therefore I built the starting blueprints, sort of accounting for 10 players, and then we end up with 2.5 times that amount.
Yeah, actually, how did you guys deal with the early game coal? Because I know that was a big issue for us. It was very far.
Lots and lots of melts.
Yeah, early we put down lots of burner drills, in a loop to get coal up and running. And because we had more players, we had more burner miner drills, so that was an advantage. And then I actually imported a blueprint that has burner miners feeding themselves on the coal, so all our electric miners went onto iron. So
I see.
once we're up and running, burner miners covered our coal mostly until actually the first coal patch I think was done. At least 50 or 60% of it was just done with burner miner drills and mined dry before we started replacing with electrics.
Yeah, I guess that's something we... Oh, that's interesting. Alright, well...
When it comes to themes, like, do you guys want to do like a different fun theme every time, or?
You'd have to change it up, Gluda. If we did this again, like I built blueprints for this scenario, and I put them in the game blueprints. So anybody for the next time round could download the previous map, grab those blueprints, and basically it's the starter base, it's the main base which built all the science to get us up to rockets, and then a module base to crank out modules to feed a rocket base to do 1 rocket per minute. And
yeah, and
that's the magic blueprint to win.
Yeah, and although nobody actually, it seems like nobody on either team did it, I think to have a test server early on could have really imbalanced things. It was kind of a wild variable, but if anybody did what JD did and had actual blueprints of everything pre-prepared to slowly grow, could have also been way too much of an advantage for whoever had that.
Well, I had the blueprints, and I intentionally didn't share them because I was unsure about griefers long term, and therefore nobody got a copy of the blueprints. Will got a copy just before the game, a couple of hours before the game launched, and I held on to all the blueprints until start of the game. And then I couldn't load Factorio because it didn't agree with the server, so I had to launch a different version, and I wasn't in for the first half hour.
Oh. Well,
I think we're not looking into stopping blueprints because, like, you could just go load up a picture or whatever. It'd just be.
You could do old school blueprints. Yep, copy from picture.
Yes.
Yeah, but we were looking more into just shaking things up to make people's blueprints useless until they're in the game and they're like, "Oh, we was not prepared for this."
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Yeah.
Well then. Yeah.
Don't tell them what the goal is before it starts.
That's actually a great idea.
Yes and no, because you're gonna
like
have
a surprise with resources. Generally throws people up with prepared blueprints.
Yeah, well,
like if there's not enough coal for it or not enough stone.
I actually assumed the resources were half what they were because you guys said a default map, and we launched a map with absolute play game go, and the resources are half of what we end up with on when we actually came to the event. So we were pleasantly surprised.
We trained for half of what we actually got.
Yep.
I think one thing we're probably going to do is we're going to shake up the options a little, like the aggressiveness of the enemies and so on. We're going to just shake it up just to throw people off so they can be prepared for every single scenario.
Okay, so I'm going to throw it out there. Marathon Death World. Most fighters killed wins.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. That would actually be very interesting. Plus, I think...
And hell, put us all on the same map, and we'll do PvP with one team on one side, one team on the other, and biters down the middle.
Oh, God, yeah.
If you could fight your way through to the biters, go for it.
Yes, please.
You gotta fight the biters to get to
we'll just like have one thing in the middle, and the team that can get past the biters and destroy it wins.
I'd settle for that.
It's a prepped rocket silo that's
Yeah.
just ready to go.
Whoever can launch the rocket wins.
Or you'd have to crank the fighters all the way up and.
Yeah, Marathon Death World is special. I did a playthrough in 15, and before it became a default option, and it's hard. It's very, very hard.
Well, I think with the number of players though that there is, it would force people to not be able to solo as much the biters early on.
Oh no,
Because so
soloing
far-
is not an option.
If you get the settings for ColonelWill's frontier map for the biters, that could be a potential for biter like expansion.
You mean when they had to push a couple thousand tiles for the silo?
Oh yeah, because the expansion of the biters was crazy.
Yeah, that was default.
You have to use console
expansion.
commands to get that.
But Mojo, you set that one up. Wasn't that default expansion? So it was like once every 3 minutes?
Yeah, but there's another. So there's a base padding setting, and what I basically did was turn that off. So
they spawn right on top of one another.
So they would
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
spammed, basically.
So there was no restriction on how
The
close
density.
one
Yeah.
new base could spawn next to an existing one.
Yeah.
So it's basically a pure wall of fighters.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was like a 90-second cooldown too.
Yeah. Yeah, default biters is like 3 minutes minimum, 5 minutes maximum for expansion. So
Well, with the number of players that was on, the biters were mostly a joke as far as I know. I mean, they were slowing us down, but they weren't. They weren't dangerous.
On this map?
on this map,
Yeah.
they're fine as long as you keep them on the other side of the lasers. If they get
Yeah.
behind you, they can become a problem real fast.
And also, if people are online to repair walls, that
Yeah.
also helps.
I mean, we didn't have a wall until like not even last night, actually, like noon yesterday or like 12 hours ago or something. We didn't even have a wall.
Does anybody have the blue server up and running? Can we get a pollution evolution command? What did they get up to? Did they get to 99%? Because we had behemoths before. We had behemoths before the 12-hour mark.
Oh no! Behemoth came in on like the second day or something.
No, we had behemoths like really early.
Had 'em really early.
Yeah, I think I was on the server when they were first sighted. That was at least 12 hours from start. I mean, 24.
Blue's at
Yeah, no, we were very
96.8%.
Do a race to complete SpaceX. Lord, that's actually not a bad idea.
You would need a good amount of players to do that in a reasonable amount of time.
ColonelWill's done it with about 20, I'd guess, ballpark.
We did it in 12 or 13 hours.
I thought it was 18 hours.
Lord's the author of the mod, and he says 18. So
I was right. Yay!
Wow.
I thought that we did a.
I think
It
the
might have been
fastest
something
we
else
got was
actually.
18.
Well,
And a
'cause it's all just
C-block race,
modules and
yeah.
circuits, right?
The SpaceX was
SpaceX
just
is
all the
lots. Lord's the man to go to, but
Yeah.
it's circuits, it's engines, it's robots, it's a bit of everything.
Yeah, so it's you can't just focus on one tech.
No.
I should know. I'm
I mean,
freaking trying
if
to
you
do
want
it
to
right
make
now.
something custom like that, you may as well come up with something yourself. The reason for that is because SpaceX is basically you can do research beforehand.
Yeah. That was a
Well, then-
trick for the SpaceX speedrun was to pre-bottle up as many red and green packs as possible.
Yeah. For those late researchers we need.
No,
twice
I
as many.
don't mean that. You know what SpaceX is, so you know exactly what to expect. You can make basically blueprint of everything you want, and I think that would take much of the fun away from that.
Yes and no, but look, I agree with you on some respects, but then again, like if I don't know what the challenge is, my incentive to block out a chunk of time for the event drastically decreases, because like I've got Twitch chat going on the side, and there's some people that are all for a PvP, and other people are like, nah, PvP is not my thing, pass. And in saying that, if it's a PvP, we need help in the base. You could go build in the base, but some people just look at PvP and just go, "No, not my thing. Not going to play at all." So I think
That's a fair point.
Yeah, a good notice of what type of map it is with just a general outline. A SpaceX, a PvP, a whatever. A marathon death world. And like you guys now, blue team now knows if you prep with blueprints, it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
You should know that as well.
Or if you have JD prepping for blueprints.
Yeah, JD prepped with blueprints slightly.
That helps. Yeah.
I do need to actually thank. I need to thank Matthew, and I need to thank. Was it you, Kyle? No. No. Somebody else did. We had 3 really important people doing blueprints. I did one. Nico was the other one.
Nico, yeah.
Yeah. Nico did our module base. He did our module base that had no modules in it to make modules. Matthew did our module base that used modules to make modules and fully builds itself within 2 hours for all like 4,000 modules it needs. And he also did the rocket base.
The rocket base, yeah, that's what that.
Oh, and Mojo for Rails, yeah. That he finally updated his blueprints, finally. Yeah, JJ's just saying PvP is not her thing either. And some way to make it possible to play on day 2. Don't let JD loose on a map is the way to make it possible to play on day 2.
Or get a PC like mine, and then you'd have no issues catching up.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
I have one question. I don't have much experience with multiplayer Factorio, but how big is the difference between running it on your own machine and joining a server? Because I have absolutely no problems running Red Base.
10% at least, if not a lot more.
So you are saying that in multiplayer it's a lot worse?
Yes.
Definitely.
There's a noticeable overhead as soon as you go from single player to multiplayer.
The ping goes to 0 when you do it single player.
The game doesn't have to synchronize blueprints, which is another thing. Big blueprint books in people's blueprint libraries do lag the game.
Yeah, and this is why... Yeah, if you join Catherine of Sky and her massive blueprint library, which gets synced, pass. But yeah, it's why I go into every game with no blueprints. I have absolutely nothing. That's also how I install my things, but yeah. Says red team.
And I seeding remote into my PC once.
Just a question. Do we know of any mod that disables importing blueprints?
You can do it with base game. So the /permissions menu, you can disable importing blueprints, disable exporting blueprints, and disable the blueprint menu itself. But for some reason, when you disable importing blueprints, it doesn't seem to properly disable it.
No,
So
I mean not just properly importing the blueprints. I mean also taking an outside blueprint in general. So you have canned blueprints and need to disable them.
I've been on a public server that it disabled the deconstruction planner, but like I could get the item, but I couldn't use it.
Yeah, that's custom scenario files.
Okay. That's another permissions setting is allow mark for deconstruction, I think it's called.
So
just disable that.
I'm in red server right now, or in the red map locally, and I'm at 40 UPS. And an update of 18.5, yeah.
No wonder you're falling behind.
Oh yeah. Well, I was on it 4:15 without an issue, and then come closer, it got to 5 o'clock. The worse it got. So, root cause, no idea. But yeah, this is our little base in 48 hours.
Little with quotation.
The other thing too is the server side can run a lot faster. The dedicated server side
Oh
runs a
yeah,
lot faster.
I was talking to Eden, and our base, not quite at its peak, but basically if we quadrupled it, that would max out the server. So we could even lag out Mojo if we tried.
Yeah, I don't know what's I just like the Clustorio servers. I was always able to run smooth, and this one just
Clustorio servers were not. There was only a couple
They
that
were
were
not amazing.
really, really good specs. Most were pretty mediocre.
Most were pretty middle of the road, like 3770s.
Yeah.
Similar class Xeons. Most of them didn't have the very highly spec'd RAM.
Yeah, there was like 2 or 3 servers that were really, really highly spec'd. They were i7s with decent RAM and newer generation PCs, but most of them were Xeons with fairly low class ECC RAM.
Did you also try to keep the UPS at 16 to make really efficient builds?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but
that was more of an issue to keep everything synced.
That was building the server to the maximum potential of that server.
Yeah. Min-maxing the server.
Yeah.
It's like, so ColonelWill servers, they're like 3770s. I can't remember how much RAM. And it can easily run the map way faster than what most people's current PCs can do.
Also, the server part itself, at least, was way under the capacity of our actual 50-slot server. Like, you could have actually built more if your PCs could have kept up with it.
No, my PC couldn't keep up at all. Even single player, it still can't keep up.
If you had bigger PCs, though, the server would have held up fine for 8 times that.
Eden said that, the highest we got was like 17% of the core. So 4 times the size we built it, of the individual core.
That was my follow-up question, was how much percentage of the actual core?
17%.
Yes.
I'm not exactly sure. We have an Intel Xeon processor that we're running this on inside of our soft virtual machine. I'm not sure exactly how much we ended up using and how many gigahertz it was or whatever, but I think in the end you were using like 40% of one core or something. It was actually went a little over than what we expected, though it's still like crazy under the limitations of the 50-slot server.
Well,
it's still pretty good.
So you can build twice the size and lag Mojo out. And yeah, Pollution Cloud for Red was red.
Fighters don't use a lot of processing power on their own.
No, not since, was it 15?
15.
Yeah, 15 to 16.
Pollution's nothing as well. There is a specific circumstance, though, that does, and that's when an attack party gets stuck.
There's no command to clear those yet? Can you manually type in a command to clear attack parties?
Basically kill all biters, all enemy units, which doesn't kill the spawners.
Okay. So
I hate to be this person, but like just because we're trying to get a good grasp on what you guys want, what other games would you guys want GMA to support? Because we could do competitions for other games too.
Nope, that went silent quick. I don't know. I spend far too much time playing Factorio. NetHack?
Yeah, me too.
So none.
You totally want some open TTD sometime.
Yes, we're doing that now, I believe.
Oh, there you go, Mojo.
I'm sure someone would be interested in Terraria.
We've had some issues with the people at Terraria.
Yeah, they were rude. We're not going to work with them.
Very rude.
Really?
Oh, really?
Wow.
Well, there you go.
Well, not the developers, the people who have the Terraria community Discord.
Oh. Twitch chat's asked for CSGO. Battletech.
Well, CSGO with a kappa.
That's like, no, JD's new to Twitch. He doesn't know what Kappa means.
No. No, I'll just go stand in the corner and shut up. We got ASCII art on our server too. A few of them actually.
I saw those. They were very cute.
Future Mojo
I didn't
problem.
Get to finish it's so crappily drawn.
Did you draw that by hand, Mojo?
Yes.
Gosh. No, just no, Mojo.
When Mojo's bored and can't figure out what to do with his next circuit condition.
Yep, I just say F's future be a problem and then go do something else.
Yeah.
It's like the thing. It's like, yeah, I start doing the plate and it's like, I'm gonna do something else.
That's alright.
I finish it another time.
I got the JD players right beside Spawn on both servers. That's the important thing.
Have you taken a blueprint of that future Mojo problem? You can blueprint it on every server you join.
Oh, that's tempting. That's tempting. Just join all the public servers and just dump it on every one of them.
So one of the issues that has come up is, so you know the way basically nobody can run the red map right now?
Correct.
The original plan is the winner of the tournament will have their name, their save file immortalized as the default save file for GM8 servers.
Yeah.
It's a bit of an issue, I can see what you're leading to.
I know that was part of the competition, and I built like this anyway. Yeah, keep going. You've got a better idea?
And we might just have like a slight issue with people that'll start up their Factorio server, and I just think it's broken because they can't connect. It'll just say catching up for a year.
I think if you move, if you're watching the stream by any chance, because that means I don't have to screenshot stuff.
I have it open, yeah.
Oh.
It's just a bit slow because my internet's slow.
There you go. That's all the map I'd give them. To there.
I'm actually running red just fine. 15 milliseconds per update.
Borderline.
What about ripping up nuclear? How much?
I just give them that much of the map. Like, wall it in with lasers all the way around. That's probably enough solar to support it. Maybe not.
Where are you putting the text?
And I just give them that as the
Alternatively, you could stop the trains going to the rocket bases.
Yeah, well, if
and
you
then
just
let it settle down.
Kill the trains, that'll fix it.
I go in and cut all the train.
What's the command, Mojo, to kill the trains?
I don't know, actually.
Mojo.
I'll run it right now and see how it fixes things.
There's a command to spawn me right into the nearest moving train.
You can do that one. That's
Which one?
easy.
What?
The one that makes Kyle stand in front of a train.
Oh, okay. Logistic robot.
Will did that.
That counts the trains.
A couple times.
I don't have the command.
Uma posted /trains kill all. I wasn't aware of that one, actually.
I got that one. Oh, look, actually, we don't have that many trains. Train tracks, at least. No, unknown command trains. Sorry.
That might be a mod command then.
We do have... Got one here to count trains.
You can always just open the train window and, multiply whatever it is, like 4 by number of row. It might take a little while, but it shouldn't be too bad.
I forgot the /s to indicate sarcasm. Yeah.
Alternatively, you can just stop whatever train's sitting in the unload for like iron and copper. Just set them to manual.
We've only got 119 trains. Manual.
Oh my god! I think I just had the worst idea to make a Factorio thing. Disable automated trains.
Oh no! No!
Why are you setting up? You don't have to set all of them to manual. Just the ones in the unload.
Oh no! The faster I block the main line, the faster things settle down.
Oh gosh.
Are you just gonna go put 4 trains on the main line and call it a good?
Yeah, pretty much. If I see a train moving, switch to manual, and that'll break things real fast. Yeah, it's gonna take what Actually, no, at the rate this chews through resources, probably about 2 minutes.
Yeah, that lack of mining productivity is just. Ooh.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't have helped us
Actually,
that much.
pretty alright mining productivity. But not like 400.
Really? There's no iron train in iron? Okay. Rocket base 1. You're now a manual. Swap oil to manual. Yeah, you're really broken. I got rocket base 3 fine.
Also, I think I had another idea. What if you had a pre-made map with a train network and you could not place other rails? With of course, it would have a train station type things put in, but they would be small and put frequently.
Kiwi, we made Gluda, Dr. Vernon, and Cheeky Rich. And we made Eden Coda and Install Gen 2 Poorer. Sorry, mate. You bet on the wrong team.
Yeah, you did.
Like, at what point did the office start laying down bets? That's my question.
We were going to remain neutral. Then Checky was like, I put down $10 on red. Who's going to match me?
You didn't go, I'll also put down $10 on red? You decided to go with blue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why'd you choose rum? What made you choose blue?
Well, we figured that with red, we thought that most of the people would just be a few streamers and speedrunners and those people, and that everybody else would probably just be doing more or less nothing. And then all of blue seemed like they were all going to contribute a fair amount, so we're just looking at blue for that.
I mean, I was going to do a lot of things,
different.
but the thing is, I just graduated from high school like a week ago, and this weekend we had the party this weekend.
That's where you got it wrong. Blue was actually talking beforehand and being prepared, and red was just like, JD's got it.
Yeah,
we were
pretty much they
totally
just left it
unprepared.
all in my lap and hope for the best.
It worked out. Ish.
So we're still producing something, at least in my copy. Yeah, things are still munching along. Yeah,
So,
I'd put the save just the middle part of the map.
as opposed to red and blue, would you guys want to do like countries?
I don't know.
Like have a lot of countries compete. I don't think that would work.
I think earlier someone said AU versus NA.
That is an amazing idea, however.
Yeah, continent, but countries. Who's gonna be with?
Oh,
Team
I'm
Polish?
so sorry. That's not.
Okay, like I mean, you have things like Team Hungary, Team Slovakia.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, there
We'll
might
just
be a
have,
lot
like-
of players, but definitely would not even come close to the
Yeah,
player
we-
base of US or something like
Like
that.
have like Guatemala and Zimbabwe. You know, have one player on each team. That's it.
No, I mean, we have one Hungarian and one. I think it's Mutz who's Hungarian.
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah, and then we have Refresh who's Polish, so it would basically be loners.
But seriously, no more bullying like NA versus AU or no.
I would like
It
that.
could be a good
It would be
idea
fun.
as long as the team are not too unbalanced. It would be fun.
I have a feeling the Australian team would end up very, very small, very, very quickly. Crisis, there'd be no
most of the
AU
people
lag.
on here
It'd
are
be.
Australian.
What about the what is it? Colonies versus the Empire.
Oh.
Then where would East Europe go? Like Austria, Hungary, monarchy. Would that be another thing as well?
It's colonies versus the empire. I think something.
Kiwi, thank you for the follow. I don't know. I'm gonna leave all the choices up to the GM8 guys. We'll throw ideas at you, and you get to pick
I
one.
came up with a pretty good idea now. We have two teams, and it's based on countries. We have one team that drives on the right side of the road, and one that drives on the left side of the road.
That could work.
Like incredibly
So that's
it's
like
something you just make up on the spot.
UK and AU and like Japan, I think, drive on the left.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Singapore.
China also, I think.
And everyone else drives on the.
And everybody else drives on the right.
The correct side.
India.
India, they drive just down the middle of the road.
Yeah.
Wherever there's free
There's
space.
road.
One country where like they drive on the
South
right side of the
Africa?
road, but the steering wheels are also on the right, and nobody can see what they're doing.
As far as I know,
the
though,
country, but there is one of those.
There we go. Somebody's uploaded it.
In some good trucks in Italy, yeah, I mean, driving in the middle of the road or driving on a sidewalk is not much of a difference.
So, country's driving map on the stream.
It's actually interesting because I expected more colonial countries to be driving on the left.
Aren't they colonial?
I'd have to be on Team Blue for the next one if we did that. That could ruffle some feathers.
I would also be on Team Blue because the left-hand drive is just so compact, and I like it better.
See?
You have to do the wide tracks for the right-hand drive.
Wait, are we talking about things or?
We're talking about roads, and now we moved on to trains.
Because there is a difference between the countries. Some
Oh.
countries use left-handed.
Okay, so Green Beer in chat has said, make the left-hand drive countries play right-hand drive trains, and the right-hand drive must play left-hand drive trains.
Oh my god, it's going to mess with my brain so much.
I do that anyways.
That'd be great for me. I always do left-hand drive when I'm in America.
I tried to learn to do the trains left-hand drive, even though, US, but God knows how many hours I just couldn't stop getting it wrong, so I just abandoned all hope and just did it the right drive.
Mojo's made blueprints for both.
I want to build my own blueprints for that. It's just a personal thing for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, making your own blueprints is the best part of the game, I think.
It's part of the reason why I've learned it. Well, quote, as well as I have, even though it's not very well, but it's basically the only reason I even know partially, like, how it works.
I've built both. I can swap back and forth without too much hassle.
I started doing right-hand drive, and then I was like, what? And then I did left-hand drive. That's basically exactly how it happened.
I don't know. I'm going to call it for a stream. Thank you for the events. You guys are going to have to work out where the servers are going.
Yeah, we're already working on that. We're compiling a list of everybody which is in the red team which has contributed stuff, because we're not just looking to give away things to idle members who have never done a thing.
Good. Good. Well, I'm bowing out. I'll pass on the server. Thanks for the opportunity, but
all right.
One of my members has kindly gifted me one. So I'm going to call it for the end of the stream. Thank you guys for the event. I do look forward to the next one. I have no idea if I can participate or not. But yeah, I this one we had what 3 weeks notice because it got moved back because of Father's Day everywhere in the world except for Australia.
Yes, I believe so.
So we had what 2 weeks notice, 3 weeks notice.
I think 3. I'm not 100%.
Okay. Yeah, 3 weeks notice was good. I don't want a week's notice because that just doesn't work with my life.
We'll try to announce in the first week of the month, I believe.
I like the idea, but I also like moving it around just in case, because I know some people work or have other commitments
Stupid
on like
hours.
first week or second week. Yeah, you work stupid hours. We know you work stupid hours. But yeah, move it around a little bit. Weekends are good, apart from it started 5 p.m. Saturday for me. But yeah. And
You complained
move
about
the
5
time.
p.m. Saturday.
Yeah.
It was like 3 a.m. for most of us.
You know, it started at midnight on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was midnight or 3 a.m., dude. Like, we were up in the middle of the night.
I got 2 hours of sleep on the first one.
No, I got 3 hours of sleep and then did renovations for a whole day and then played and streamed for a total of 12 hours before sleeping for 5 and rinse and repeat.
Slept a total of 8 hours the last 2 days. So
Yeah, it's about that. Hey, you were hardly on the server.
What?
You hardly did anything on the server is probably more accurate.
No. I did everything. See, my name was on
You did.
everything.
Carl did nothing. He undeconstructed the map.
We have run into an issue right now.
Yeah.
We don't know anybody's Factorio's username, so we won't know who won when it comes to Discord.
Well, mine is the same.
Oh.
So we're probably going to have to end up posting Factorio.
And it'll
usernames, so but then we'd have the issue of somebody coming along and being like, "Oh, that was me. That was definitely my name."
Then have them join a server with you with that name. That's my answer.
All right. Yeah, we could do that.
All right, I'm going to call it. Thank you,
Can't
guys.
cheese that.
Yeah, can't choose that one.
Good
All
night.
right.
Have a good night.
Well, that's the end of the event. We beat the pants off Blue Team. We beat quite a few people's computers. And yeah, Red Team wins. So there you go. Big thank you if you've watched this far into the stream. It was fun relearning, learning again, attempting to learn how to edit. Again, any comments you've got about my editing skills, please leave them in the comments with some time codes because that really, really helps. At the same time, big thank you to my Patreons because without their donations, I couldn't afford to kick everybody out of the house for a good majority of the weekend so I could actually do these live event streams. Unfortunately, I didn't get one done for July. It sort of got rolled into the next GM8 event just because I'm in the middle of moving. Literally, I'm about to sign the lease in. Well, actually, I've signed the lease by the time you guys watch this video, hopefully. Which means I'm hopefully in the middle of moving by the time you guys are watching this video. We'll see. We'll see. It's been a little bit of a rollercoaster ride. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed. As always, leave your comments, your thoughts, all that sort of stuff down in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.